I'm Franklin Parker with Directional Advisors. It's the week of April 7th, and here's what I care about this week. Well, the trade war is on, and it is far bloodier than any of us expected. The Trump administration announced sweeping tariffs to every country in the world last week. And quite frankly, the methodology used to calculate those tariffs was rather shallow. That surprised me as well as many other analysts. Now, there's no way to slice this as a positive, in my view, economically. Tariffs are a massive tax on the U.S. consumer. The U.S. consumer represents about 75% of the U.S. economy. And so I don't see how we get out of this without higher prices and much slower economic growth. This is a stagflationary environment, much the same as what led us into the early 1980s for those who are history buffs like me. Now, none of this was much of a surprise in the sense that I have been expecting a recession for some time now. I've talked about that repeatedly. And so for our clients, we were pretty conservative coming into this, and in many cases, very heavy cash since late February, early March for most of our clients. For clients who have about 5 years to a goal, if you haven't addressed a potential recessionary environment with your advisor, now is absolutely the time to do that because in a typical recession, we see losses in the 40% range. This may be worse than typical, which would mean that we are only about halfway down. And this is, of course, going to take time to develop. Now, as I sit to talk about this, there is some hope that the Trump administration walks back some of these tariffs with our allies, but that remains to be seen. There could be a 90-day suspension, but as I said, this is a developing story. Now, I've got more about all of this on the website, including a deeper dive into what is driving GDP growth and where tariffs might threaten that. So go check that out. But in the meantime, get out there and live well.